But then like Skipsy coming in, who like obviously is not as familiar, and just kind of being like, "Hey, explain this for me," and then like being Tim just kind of like going through it, and he enjoyed it. It was like a good time, even though he has probably like not a whole lot of experience with rocketry and stuff like that. He was like he had fun.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. Was there anything I wasn't there, nor did I fully understand the context of the launch that was happening. What was significant about the one you guys watched a live stream of the other day?
So this it's a bit complicated. It's weird because like Starship is one of those programs I've been like watching since I was 17 in development, and so it gets like really complicated to like try and explain where we're at now. But essentially, we've all seen the footage of like the booster being cool from prior missions, and we've also seen like the Starship going for re-entry and taking heat up and stuff like that. But these have always been like Mach 1. Like if you think Mach 1 Iron Man suit, like that's what these have always been. And the upper stage of this launch was the Mark II, which was quite disappointing to see explode, but also not surprising because it's technically speaking, the first time they're launching this version of the rocket. So that was kind of the big deal, and they had a payload, like a test payload, and the Starship has kind of like a goofy way of getting payloads up into space at the moment, because they're trying to get like the Starlink satellites as priority for Starship as a payload. And the way they do it is they do it like a Pez dispenser, where they have like a little thin sliced door, and then like the satellites, because they're like built like little pizzas, you can just shoot them out rapidly through this Pez dispenser, like like almost like a coin machine that like shoots out coins. It's essentially the exact same thing. So we were hoping to see that, but then I did it this morning when I was streaming, and I did record it so I could probably make a little quick edit video of it. I went to Kerbal Space Program and recreated the mission and then what went wrong in my Kerbal Space Program save.
Fantastic.
And so I could explain to Skipsy, because Skipsy was kind of like, what's going on? And I was like, okay, well, one of the engines is not lighting. That's not a good thing. I will show you why it's not a good thing. But a catch happened, which I think is just like, I want to preface this as well, because I was trying to explain to Skipsy, is I'm one of these people who like loves SpaceX. I've been following SpaceX for a while. I know some SpaceX engineers, and it's one of these companies that like Elon owns, that like even the company sometimes have to tell Elon to shut the fuck up about certain things, because he's just being bullshit. But it gets hindered, or like he almost hinders his own companies by being so kind of either arrogant or like like Starship. The reason why Starship is a rocket is such a big deal is it's a heavy lift air vehicle that is fully reusable. Best way I can explain it is, if you were to fly in a plane, if they have to throw the plane away every time you landed, we wouldn't be flying.
Oh, I get that part of it.
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah, exactly. But it just so happens that this rocket is so massive and could do. It's not even about the size. It's the heaviest heavier than air vehicle ever to fly. So besides the Hindenburg, nothing bigger has flown than Starship. They've already beaten that record, so that's a pretty good record to beat. But it's about like how much can you get into space. And I was explaining to Skipsy that like the space shuttle took 40 flights to get into orbit to make the ISS. Starship could probably do it in 2 launches. So it's a big deal as a vehicle, because it just makes space a lot cheaper and a lot more accessible. And I've never been a big space tourism fan, so it's like when I say accessible, it's more like companies, like smaller companies being like, hey, we need like a network provider, or hey, we want to develop we want to develop habitats on the moon and see how our equipment does. like you now have like a really easy capability of doing that instead of having to go to like a government agency and saying, hey, we need to borrow money. So
Yeah, it's not the idea of, oh, we have another space mountain in Disney World. It's quite literally like you just said, the efficiency and also the scientific progress that can be made with it, like is what is so exciting.
yeah, it's almost like, oh, I'm a business owner and I want to set up a business in Ireland, so I'm gonna have to sail on the Titanic to get there. And then all of a sudden somebody comes along and says, hey, I have a 747 and we can fit like 600 people on this plane, so like we can send you their cheapest, ships. So yeah, it's all about like efficiency, it's about master orbit, it's also about just general, like, I always consider Starship not like the same way the first plane to fly in 1907 or 1911, whenever it was, isn't the same as the 747. It's like a different type of plane. It's the same way with Starship, where Starship's not your typical rocket or like a same type of rocket. It's its own type of vehicle. So I imagine in the future you're gonna have like you're gonna have different types of starships. You're gonna have like owned by probably even different companies. It's gonna be like different, like Airbus might have a Starship or Boeing might have a Starship. I wouldn't trust a Boeing one, but like yeah,
they had a Starship.
yeah, they had a Starship. Yeah, so, and like it annoys me because it's such a good vehicle and it's such a good design, but then Elon will come out and go like, oh yeah, we're going to send like 1,000, not 1,000, but like, well, he says like 1,000 people to Mars by 2028, and all it does is like demean the project, because obviously no one's going to believe it, so it makes the entire project seem like fantasy, and all the engineers have to essentially pay for it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And like the biggest one, they did actually tell him like to shut the fuck up on this. He was trying to claim that you could use Starship as a form of transport, where you could get like from LA to Shanghai in like 25 minutes, which you could do if you really wanted to. You could do it, but
yeah, if you're a fucking billionaire.
Yeah, well, I think at that point, because of the reusability, you're probably looking estimates like they say $25,000. I'm probably gonna say like more closer to $80,000. Sure, billionaire levels, but like it's technically speaking cheaper than a private jet flight. So if you were like a businessman, like yeah, because like rocket fuel generally not too expensive. It's mostly just that most rocket flights nowadays you have to like, you're essentially paying to destroy a rocket, if that makes sense. Like,
yeah,
you're not paying for the fuel, you're paying that this rocket, by the way, is never going to be used again. You are literally burning it, like burning money at this point. So yeah, but even then, like, there's no point, like, there's a reason why the Concorde doesn't fly anymore. It's not because, I mean, sure, fuel...
It's not because Sony canceled it.
Yeah, like, that took like a second to like...
That was a good one. That was a good one.
Yeah, but it's not... yeah, Concorde, like, there's a lot of different reasons why Concorde shut down, but like the main reason as well is like, you don't need to be in a business meeting in New York by like 9 o'clock anymore. You can just call. Like there's no reason being there in person anymore. And so
unless you're American, then they believe that like online work and working from home is not efficient.
Yeah. But like the French and British were like, no, what's the point? Like, we're spending all this money, like we're essentially subsidizing this program now for like businessmen to like, the whole idea is like, and it's still a thing to this day, like London to New York is like a very popular like trip between London, like that route is like really popular because it's like businessmen will wake up in the morning in London, go on a flight, and by the time they like, it's weird from the UK, when you take off from the UK and you land in the US, you essentially land in the US the same time you took off from the UK. So if you leave at like 1 o'clock in the afternoon in London, you'll probably get to New York at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And
isn't it just a... Never mind. I answered my own question in my head.
Yeah, no, it's like, it's just how the planes follow the time zones and stuff. And you also, you go quite high up in the planet, so you're kind of skipping some time zones. So it's really good for business. Like, wise, like you can, hey, I've got a meeting for 1 o'clock. Okay, I'll get the flight for 12 o'clock, arrive in New York for 12 o'clock, and then I'm there. It's just still a popular thing nowadays, but like being there in like 3 hours, like just doesn't make any sense anymore, unless you're like private, super high executive, gotta be there to shake the hands with the contractors and stuff. Besides that, it's just not a really
pointless.
Yeah. So when Musk, the whole, hey, we can do like a flight from LA to Shanghai in 32 minutes, like SpaceX were like,
no, we can't.
well, they could, but they're probably not going to, because they don't want to, and it's just like not financial. It doesn't financially make any sense. So they like said to Musk, like, hey, like, don't stop promoting this idea because we're not gonna do it.
Yeah, he's kind of a moron whose entire foundation as a person is like, I'm not. No. I'm just gonna stop that right now.
I mean,
we all know exactly
his
history and all that. I'm not about the bitch.
The problem is the truths get clouded with the insane accusations. So like when Musk says something like, we could get a starship to Mars by 2028 or whatever, they could technically do it. Like they could, if they were like on their current progress now, they could get a starship to land on Mars by 2028. That's very calling it close, but like given how much they've done in the last 2 years, I would say feasible. The problem is he doesn't just say that, he goes on to say other things about building cities and and then the lines of truth get like lost in the mist essentially. And doesn't he's going to be taking up a lot of time as U.S. president, so I mean, yeah, he'll get priorities, which I mean, for me as a space enthusiast, I guess that's a win. But like at the same time, for me as a democracy fan as well, maybe not. It's a weird one. I'm just gonna try and see like any benefit I can get, and just be like, all right, at least I can appreciate that aspect of it.
The likelihood of me having children, those stocks go down like every single day, let alone like every time you read something on the news. Like the United States education infrastructure has been nerfed every single patch. Like at this point, they're not even viable as a fucking character anymore.
So. Hey, Skipsy's having a kid. God bless him for that.
Yeah, good luck. Good luck, mate.
He's gonna get that Sir Swag for Tennessee leave. He's gonna get the child pay now.
Yeah.
But
it's funny. I haven't even talked to him since that announcement. That's crazy.
Nah, I'm happy. I'm really happy for him. I mean,
yeah. I mean, it's exciting news.
Yeah. I've never been known for one to keep like relationships together, so like I respect that.
Aren't you dating somebody right now, or did you said in a sentence earlier that was like a thing for a moment? Like, is that already? Did I miss that arc?
Oh, from when I went to Japan. Like, yeah, we were dating at that point, but not anymore, unfortunately.
Yeah,
didn't end on like terrible terms. Just like because we dated when we were in high school, and then we stopped dating, and then we dated again. And but it's just like distance. She's just started her career. She just finished uni, so it was just like bad timing, bad opportunities. Yeah, understandable.
Again, not to pry into your personal life. I was just thinking because I remember you saying that like last time I was in voice with you, and then
and like at the same time I have the regrets. It was still like a really fun time. Really enjoyed it. Like it's not like I've had relationships where like I'm like, oh god, why did I do that, or why did I like be in that relationship in the first place? But this was this was nothing like that. This is more just like it just happens it didn't work out. Like sad.
There's nothing wrong with that. Yeah. Like short-term relationships, as long as like you said, they kind of end amicably or are fine.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing wrong with that. Oh my fucking god, I'm gonna die here. Why do I got a fucking Godskin Noble and a Fire Monk back to back? Sorry. Because if I die here to an enemy, I'm like, I have to reset. And I've got a really good run going. But the problem is I have no sacred tears. Like, I'm on the hunt for sacred tears and I haven't found a single one. It's like the bottleneck of this run.
Yeah.
Because otherwise I'd go fight Godric right now. Or whatever is taking Godric's place. So,
yeah.
fucking whatever I was saying before.
But yeah, I mean, I every time a Starship will launch, I'll probably just stream it and go on the Discord and just be like, hey yo, who's willing to watch? Because they're still fun to watch. Like, you're still watching a thing like taller than the Statue of Liberty like get caught in a bunch of chopsticks. It's
engaging for sure.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Tim, how's your Irish rocket going?
Yeah, fine so far. We have model rockets to test coming up. They aren't proper yet. They're just model solid fuel stuff you can get online.
Okay.
But we're working on it.
But engine development your priority at the moment?
Part of it. So first thing, there's a competition in Portugal we're going to go to in October, I think. The first time you go, you have to have a solid fuel engine.
Right.
So for that one, it'll just be a off-the-shelf solid rocket motor, and then we'll continue liquid development.
Okay.
Because last year we started where we were a little bit too ambitious. So we had to kind of cut back and be like, okay, what can we realistically actually do?
Yeah.
So we're just working that out. We're just working that out and making progress the slow but correct way.
But correct me if I'm wrong, this is a development for a rocket that will be the first Irish rocket to reach orbit. Am I correct on that? That's the mission plan. Long term.
Well, right now it's get a rocket that can cross the Kármán line.
Right. Go Ireland.
So as far as I'm aware, it would be the first in Ireland, but I'm not 100% certain. Because there have been Irish satellites, but they haven't launched on an Irish rocket. They've been rideshare on either an ESA rocket or an Ariane rocket or something like that.
Like a European rocket, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty it's still amazing.
Yeah, definitely.
Like Tim is
either
like
way.
in the industry.
Well, yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's all students, so obviously it also depends on students being able to have time out of school to work and actually work on this.
Yeah.
But one of the things we're doing is we're talking with universities to let involvement in this project count as credit for some courses, which would mean we could get a larger audience and have more dedicated time. Because if you treat like a class, I think it's 5 credits in the European system is supposed to count for like, I don't know, I want to say like 125 hours of work or something like that. Something like that. So if you could, but that means you basically get 125 hours or whatever it is, 500 whatever, of dedicated work, which would be great. But obviously, again, that still needs to go through universities, and that probably won't be finished before I leave next year. So we'll see. But at this point, it's more getting a good foundation, getting it to work, and getting it to stick.
I mean, you've already talked to like people in the industry, so that's.
Yeah, of course. I mean, and the main thing right now is we're getting a name out because everyone we talk to seems really interested in working with us. And like, I was at a convention for it like a month or two ago, and while we were there, somebody came up to us and asked us if we wanted to help to work with them on something. And it was the guys that worked with composite recycling and manufacturing. So, I mean, obviously we said, yeah, well, we can do what we can, and we'd love to get some advice and a sponsorship off you as well. So,
yeah,
we'll see what we can work out.
Especially in that industry, though, it's just fantastic to get those opportunities.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
definitely.
I'm trying to think, like the closest thing I ever had to that in the film industry was working a bit with Aardman, who do Wallace and Gromit.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Yeah, and I remember before Chicken Run, the sequel came out on Netflix. It was about 2 years before it. I asked them that important question if Chicken Run 2 would come out, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we're working on the script, but we're not like totally sure on it and everything." And I kind of want to ring the guy up again and be like, "Hey, look, you could have just done Chicken Run again and do exactly the same way, and it would have been probably better than what you released, but it's fair enough.
Damn. Chicken Run 2 slander.
Yeah, I mean, it's not terrible. It's here's the thing, I don't like it's annoying because it's that part of that like nostalgia thing. It's like I don't like roasting like kids films because it's like obviously made for a specific audience that are not gonna care. But I think just like Chicken Run was so good. Maybe it's just like very unique to a British audience. Maybe I know it's popular in the US because it was distributed by DreamWorks, but like the whole like being based on like The Great Escape and everything, it like hit home. If that makes sense.
Yeah. When he had to break out of prison that one time.
Yeah.
Very relatable. Yep.
Yeah.
Out of a concentration camp.
Like we've never got like I always make the joke like in Britain we've never gotten over the war, and so anything war related or like based on a war story we just like all British people are like, yeah, we get it. Even though like none of us have seen combat.
Fair. Oh, I mean, I'm just tired of everything being a sequel, remake, or nostalgia bait, and Chicken Run 2 falls into that category verbatim. Actually, being kind of all of those.
I ended my subscription with Disney Plus because, to be fair, that was like what it felt like every show was, or like trying to capture a spark that had already kind of faded.
Yeah.
I just wanted something, and it's kind of like why I feel like anime is kind of like picking up steam a lot in this part of the world, is because people are like noticing the patterns of like trying to capture a spark that already existed, while like anime, not all anime, because like they do love shows like isekais and stuff that use the basic same principles, but you'll always like every season of like the spring season and summer seasons, you're gonna have like really unique shows come out that like test the boundaries of what like writing will allow you to do on like a TV show. So it's like it's definitely a more popular thing now because of that.
Yeah, I'd rather watch anime, seasonal anime, or shows that I've been putting off for years because of what you just said. It's just more creative, it's more interesting. It's not just the same old. Like, yeah. I love Daredevil, like the Netflix series and whatnot, but I don't think that the Born Again series is going to be good.
Yeah.
Like, that might be a hot take. Like, everybody's excited about the trailer, and it's like really Disney's next big thing. I don't think it'll ever be as good as the Netflix series was, so I'm not even cautiously optimistic. Like, I'm just not going to watch it. And then when people complained about how it was good but not as good, like, I'm going to be there being like, oh, wow. Crazy how that works.
I mentally checked out from like Marvel when WandaVision came out.
Mm-hmm.
And because I thought WandaVision was going to be this experimental like take on the Marvel universe, and then like halfway through the season, it just became like your generic Marvel movie, I guess. But like even the villain is like, I mean, to be fair, most Marvel villains in the movies have been kind of ass. So I was like, just another ass Marvel villain. And then they decide they're going to make a TV show all about this like pretty ass Marvel villain. It's like, it's almost like them going, hey, you remember Warmonger from Iron Man 1? Yeah, we're making a TV show about him. And it's like, I don't really need or want, or there's a demand for it.
There is a demand. Everything's about profits. It's not about what would make a good story. It's about what would sell the most, right?
Yeah, but
that's why we keep getting like recognizable character number 7.
Yeah, but
getting a spin-off.
But who would want a show about, what was her name? The witch from, like, that's the thing.
Couldn't tell you.
Yeah, but they've changed the name. I know for sure they've changed the name of the show like 3 or 4 times because they can't figure out what to call the show. Oh, was it Marvel? I'm gonna say
Marvelous Mrs. Doubtfire. I don't know.
Yeah, but it was literally like they changed. They had like actual like released like media, like the 3D text and everything, and they've had to change it like 3 or 4 times because they can't like, I don't know, capture whatever audience they're trying to capture. It's just
Again,
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you. These things.
It's the same. It's the same with Star Wars. The same with like I feel like all my childhood like shows.
Yeah, did anybody watch Skeleton Crew? There was no marketing for that fucking show.
Yeah.
Like whatsoever. Like I'm excited to do a Star Wars cosplay because it's taking like the elements of Star Wars that I've loved and grown up with and et cetera, and doing it for a different thing. But like there's no shows or movies or anything in that universe that like I'm looking forward to. Star Wars is just
the thing I appreciate the most is that with every Star Wars show that comes out, it only makes my opinion on the Revenge of the Sith stronger and better. To a point
the prequel stocks do go up.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if I'll ever agree with Merc's opinion on Attack on the Clones, but
I don't remember everybody's shitty takes on Star Wars.
We did like I think we were playing Helldivers. We did like everybody did a tier list, and I think we all came to a common opinion that Merc probably has the worst take on Star Wars, where he would put Episode 5 and Episode 2 on the same level, and would probably put Episode 2 above Episode 5, which to me is insanity.
I'd have to rewatch some of these. I haven't seen the films in a while, but
my only take on Star Wars, I don't really like. For me, Star Wars, and me and Skipsy agree on this. Like, Star Wars has never been something like I've loved it as a child, but it's never been something I've taken so seriously to a point where like I'm like, you have to watch, blah 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 blah. Like you, like as in like I'm not like a fanatic about it. Except for like the only film in the entire all the films that have been released of Star Wars. There's only one that is like, if I were to like have a cinema ranking of all the films in film school that like we were forced to watch, and like I had to like do like a ranking, like I'm talking like we're putting on the level of like Goodfellas or like whatever you consider a good film or whatever. Empire Strikes Back, like on its own without any of the other films, is like a genuinely good film. Like it is like a masterpiece in itself. It doesn't need the franchise of Star Wars to back it up. As a single own movie, is a fantastic piece of like art. And
I don't think that's a hot take.
Yeah, and so I would consider it like if all of the Star Wars films like S tier or A tier or whatever you want to put it. I don't like, but to put it on like the level of Attack of the Clones, that is a very gross. Like, don't get me wrong, people like I think Revenge of the Sith. Other people don't like it, and I go, fair enough, I can respect that opinion. And then Mark will come out here and be like, well, I think Attack of the Clones is pretty good compared to Empire Strikes Back, and I'm just like, alright, someone's gonna die tonight.
I think Star Wars as a world is great and super imaginative, and I think there's so many great elements from all the pieces of media that come together for like the world building and the lore, etc. But yeah, film wise, it's like original trilogy all the way. The prequels have like some redeeming quality, I guess.
Charm. That's the only thing.
Yeah, like they've not really held up over time, I guess, unless you really want to talk about like special effects. But the sequel trilogy is ass. No one's gonna argue against that.
Yeah.
Where my nostalgia comes in is like the Clone Wars TV show series and all of that. I didn't even watch Rebels. It was just like what Clone Wars did. That was so interesting is the aesthetic palette of the prequels in the story form of the Clone Wars and like some of its best episodes. I'm not one of those fans either. Like I hate people that are like, oh, Clone Wars is good, but you have to get to season 5 for it to be really good. Like just skip seasons 1 through 4. Like those people are fucking stupid. If they genuinely think that there aren't good episodes in like every single season. Like obviously it's like Adventure Time where like it starts slow and it's like for a younger audience, but as it grows and gets, more accustomed and ages, right? It literally ages with its audience. That's the reason why Fiona and Cake season 2 is meant for people like 20 plus, right? Like it's very much a show for like young adults. It's not even a kids cartoon at that point. It's the same thing with Clone Wars. If you look at like Clone Wars and then where the show begins and where it ends with like Order 66 and that portrayal of it, and then the Bad Batch series and everything else where Star Wars is at, not including the Marvelification of it.
But yeah, and that was during that really weird period, I think maybe 2015, 2016, where Disney kind of gave the green light on... Actually, it might be later, it might be 2018. They gave the green light on like a bunch of their old, Fox's old and Warner Brothers old properties on like, okay, you can kind of do what you want with this. And it was the same time when like season 5 of Clone Wars came out. It was like the R-rated, well, it wasn't R-rated, I don't think, but the Samurai Jack like revival that happened.
Yeah, that was in 2017.
2017, yeah. So like it was that time where like all these old Cartoon Network shows were like, okay, Adult Swim can actually like get away with like releasing these without Disney like putting their thumb down on it. So we're good to like go wild on these shows. And it's kind of like, I'm a big disbeliever of like making something like R-rated or whatever doesn't make it good necessarily.
Yeah, it doesn't make it better.
Yeah, so yeah, and I think like within that 2017 2018 period, there were like shows and movies were kind of going like, hey, let's just like, I think like Deadpool came out, the first one, and people were like, Disney was like, oh, we can make money with these movies, and then like try to do it, and then like just kind of messed up a bit, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Sorry. If you're watching my stream, you'll understand. Trying to kill these overworld bosses.
Yeah. But no, I mean, I don't know. There's not a whole lot I'm like looking. That's the depressing thing, is that there's not a whole lot I'm like looking forward to, as in like media wise, like this year. Mm-hmm. When I was like 14, there were so many movies I was looking forward to, and it sounds really cringe, but like I'm 14 at the time, so it was like How to Train Your Dragon 2. I was like hyped to shit for. Rise of the Planet of the Apes, I was hyped as shit for. I think the first teaser for Star Wars Episode 7 was released. I was like, yes, come on, keep it going. And then like all these other like movies and stuff, and my 14-year-old brain, like the new, like the caveman like cell, the back of my brain was kind of like activating at full level. And yeah, I was just like, I'm so excited for movies. And then I got to like, well, I guess now to a point where I'm just like completely like dried up of just like shitty remakes or some sort of, yeah, like you said, nostalgia, like bargaining,
nostalgia bait.
Yeah.
Well, that's why I mean, like anime, manga, and other forms of media have, I gotta focus up, like you can just get into those, right? Like there's a plethora, like you have not seen every single piece of media on the planet, right?
Yeah.
There's so much more that you could get into and look forward to that isn't like something releasing this year.
Yeah.
You know? And you just gotta like reframe your perspective on that.
When I was in uni, I got really big into like Bollywood films.
Yeah.
And like there were a few ones that like stuck out like a sore thumb, where it's like, okay, this is like actually decently good. And then you go and dig a bit more, and then you start to realize, okay, there's a formula here. And it just turns out every single movie wants to follow this formula. And then like there was a very good reason why, about like within a 6-month period, I went from being like big into Bollywood films to like not being interested in Bollywood films anymore.
Did you get tired of like the musicals every?
Well, like that is
other
like
scene?
Don't get me wrong, that is a true stereotype of those films, because it is every fucking film, no matter what film it is. But that's like not just like the only thing. It's just like the character tropes, like they're very much in like the 1970s for like character like development, if that makes sense. It's also very much like people always make fun of like the bad CGI, and like some movies actually have okay-ish CGI. Like I wouldn't like dismiss it, but like it will be like the character's lesson learned will be something as trivial as like there was like not a historical film, but like I guess like an Indian version of like Saving Private Ryan, but like not, it's based in like a battle that happened 500 years ago. And like the whole happiness of the film is based on the fact this man slaughtered an entire army like, and that was like the massive like emotional like I have come to completion moment, and there's no like sort of like depth to it where it's like, oh, was this the right thing? It's like, no, this was like, it's like the end of like High School Musical. Like I've killed like 500,000 troops. Hell yeah, we're gonna do a dance number to this, and you're like, okay, this is probably like not like how
It's a wee bit disturbing.
yeah. So yeah, but you're right on like anime and manga. Like I was really hesitant to watch Dan Dan Dan, and I saw Veneer's video on it, and I was like, still very hesitant, because I was like, is this gonna be like another shonen? And then, like I watched it, and I was like, the small unique aspects of the show make it like stand out on its own, and this is actually like a really clever like. This is a show that like it's your basic comedy / shonen show, and then like once in a while, like not even once in a while, like there'll be like a moment where like you watch like the most beautiful like church animation video you've ever seen. If that makes sense. You know, I've never been to church, but I know like the meme where it's like church will like roll out the TV once in a while, or like the projector, and like they'll show you like some animation about that represents Jesus or something. Like Dan 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 will like have like a really funny episode, and then like the next episode starts with like a short film about like a mother who has like to sell her body to like men and stuff in the night to pay for a child to go to like dancing school, and then like the shark clones like come and beat her up and take her child, and she has like, and you're like, what the like I was like laughing in the last episode, but what the fuck is this like deep shit? It's like one of the most beautifully animated things as well. Like you're talking about like Your Name style animation to this like 10-minute short film, and you're like, okay, this is like, but that's what I love about like anime series in general, because it's such a competitive market that they sort of are allowed to go experimental and just kind of go nuts with like how they approach the storytelling. And so you get like weird gems like Dan Dan Dan, where like you're like, I don't know where this is going, I don't know where the writers or the animation team were thinking, but like I'm invested, I'm here for the entire show, like keep giving me more. So yeah, I definitely, if you haven't watched it, recommend it.
It's on my list. I mean, I have a My Anime list, if you've ever heard of it. I have a Mal account. I have over 200 shows on my plan to watch, so trust me, anything that gets a moderate amount of attention goes on that list and just stays there to die. Like Chainsaw Man, I watched recently, because I really like 12-episode series, because they're easy to digest, and I don't have to like invest all my time and effort into it. Like I watched Kaguya Love is War. I didn't finish it, because that show's like long and the bits started to get old, but Chainsaw Man was like the most interesting, I wouldn't even call it a shonen series, but just like the most interesting like action drama anime I've seen in a while.
Yeah, like I've been trying to catch up the manga, like 'cause I was reading the manga about a year and a half ago. I have these things where like I will stop reading the manga for a few months, let it catch up, and then like I have like plenty of content to play with. And it, like Chainsaw Man is like one of these. I kind of it's weird. I'm not talking about the show of One Punch Man, but One Punch Man has a similar, I don't know what it is, vibe or aesthetic to how
you're right.
Yeah, how they approach the writing of that show, where like the good. I would say this: the Chainsaw Man actually approached it better in the anime when it came to expressing this like sort of like style of like comedy in their deep dark story, if that makes sense. And there's like in the One Punch Man like anime, they never really approach it because it's kind of taken up by like the cool animation stuff. But like in One Punch Man, like Saitama like dealing with the fact that like the whole joke was that he is like it's supposed to be like making fun of like all shonen like Dragon Ball Z and stuff, where it's like, oh, I'm the most powerful character in the world, I'm going to win no matter what. And the whole thing of like the manga of like One Punch Man, it's like Saitama slowly becoming depressed. The fact that he's like unbeat, like he can't lose. If that makes sense. He's like, this is just like a depressing concept, and they like joke about it and stuff. But like Chainsaw Man though doesn't do that, but it does a similar thing where like is it Deku? Is it Deku?
Denji.
Denji.
Deku is My Hero Academia.
My Hero Academia.
We don't talk about that fucking ending.
We don't talk about that. Yeah. I blame the fan base for that ending, but
okay, here's the thing. I know about the ending. I've never read it. I've never watched it. I don't care to do either. Chainsaw Man, I've only seen the show, so don't spoil the manga. But One Punch Man, I'm like, One Punch Man, I've dropped the manga. Like, I'm waiting for a ton of chapters to come out so I can binge read it all again. But I'm caught up on One Punch Man. Like, you could spoil that.
Yeah.
But I don't know about Tim, so just be cautious.
That's right. I don't care. Do what you want.
I'm not even lying. The fan base for no spoilers or anything. But the fan base for it's why I stopped watching, because I could tell the writer was being influenced. The fan base of My Hero Academia would believe a writer on Twitter to like get their plot points or get their character arcs like done, and I could tell it just influenced the writer so much. Like probably past, I want to say season 3, like I could tell instantly this is just like the writer being scared that if he makes the wrong decision with the characters, he's gonna get like death threats. And because it became like My Hero Academia as an anime like became a big part of like that whole SMP like kind of character, like that entire like cultural group, and it was like super like, don't get me wrong, it's not a problem necessarily with those people, but some of those took it so seriously. Like I even like went on a Tinder date with a girl once who was mad about some of the characters and how they were going, to a point where she was like, I'm never watching this show again, it's fucking bullshit. I'm like,
okay, I want to hear that story after this anime rant, because I know what you mean. Because like oh fuck, I say things that I lose my point completely. Like My Hero Academia absolutely falls into the Demon Slayer is similar with its fandom. Yeah. Where the fandom starts to eclipse the show more than the show itself or the media itself. Undertale had the same thing happen. Undertale's a phenomenal indie game, but if you just base it off of the fandom's take on it, it is the most overrated piece of shit on the planet. Same with My Hero.
Yeah. And so I can't remember what the example was, but there was an example of two characters being shipped together, and the fact that the writer didn't ship them together, like, had him have death threats consistently happen on his Twitter page, and to a point where he slowly backtracked from those characters being like shipped in the future. And it wasn't Deku and thingy. It was, I can't remember who it was, but it was like it was a massive problem. But anyway, I was gonna say like Denji, in Chainsaw Man, is like, what I love about the show is brave enough where the main character, like in every shonen or whatever, like in Naruto, it's like, my goal is to become a Hokage, and whether that goal gets like slowly put under like the layers to like let other more important plot points happen, or if it's like, let's say Attack on Titan, I want to, like the beginning, kill the Titans, or if it's like Bleach, I want to kill the, I haven't watched Bleach so long, but
I wanna reap soul. I wanna save my goth girlfriend.
Yeah.
That's the beginning arc.
Well, I
need to save Rukia and the Soul Society.
I'm glad that like Chainsaw Man is brave enough, because it's the type of manga that it is, where it just goes like all I want to do, like my was like, what's your motivation to becoming a hero or like becoming a good person? It's like, I want to touch some titties, and it's just like,
lose my virginity.
Yeah, and like that is it's like, don't get me wrong, it's not the whole, it doesn't go in that in the manga like all the way. It changes, and that's what's really good, because it is like what Skipsy doesn't understand, but I understand, is character development. And he can watch
catching
that
strays out here.
Yeah, he can watch that. I will fight it. I will fight it to my dying. Cause he thinks,
yo, great rune. Fucking found a great rune.
Nice.
Oh, that's huge. Oh, we're going to Stormville now, baby. We found Godric's great rune. That's one of the best ones to get to.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt.
No.
That's actually exciting.
Good. That's a good one. Yeah. No.
The first great rune I found in like 2 consecutive runs. Holy shit.
Oh, damn.
Yeah,
no, like but so they're not, so the way they're doing Chainsaw, I don't know if you've seen this, as like, because you just finished, The way to
I know the movie. I saw the trailer for the movie, but I don't know anything about it. Like, I'm just gonna read the manga to where it's at now, and then I'll watch the movie when it comes out.
Yeah, all you have to no spoilers or anything. Like there's an arc in the manga which doesn't really deserve its own series, and it's like a genius idea to like make it into its own movie. Like it's like the perfect arc to make into a movie, and it's like a side arc of an arc, and it like I'm really excited for it because it looks fantastic, and I think it's like the perfect opportunity for like Denji's probably about to like have his like best character development, and I'm like so for it. And but no, like but I'm like brave. I like shows that are brave enough to just kind of go like be honest, where it's like, you know, he is what he is. He's like a late teenager.
A teenager. It is a coming of age story told in such a unique action setting. I fucking love the show for that. Exactly
that. Yeah, and I'm like tired of kind of like, don't get me wrong, anime has this problem, but it's probably the only media format where people are allowed to like get away from it, where it's like, and I feel like the ending of Attack on Titan kind of had this problem where it's like, do we keep like the character traits we've been keeping on the entire show or movie, and make it like a massive aspect of the ending or like the conclusion, or do we like go wild with the like, or not even wild, just like like my argument with Skipsy with Attack on Titan was that I was saying that like my biggest problem was with Mikasa, because I felt like there was literally no character development with Mikasa. You can fight me on that opinion if you would like, or whatever. But he could have made a good argument, but he made the argument that Mikasa's character development was, Tim, if you haven't watched it, close your ears. But
he becomes goth in the post-credit scene, and it's fucking awesome. Okay, there are no complaints.
No complaints. I was in Japan when that bit came out, and people were like losing their minds, and it was like on the big like screens and stuff. I was like, oh shit, okay.
Yeah, the final adaptation.
Yeah, no, but like, Mikasa doing the final thing she does in the show, with Eren, he considers character development, and I don't know about you because you're writing a book, but for me,
I've written a book.
Wait, written a book.
It's final draft.
Yeah. Character development for me is not a character just doing an action. It's a character that like changes its entire personality, their goals, their motivations, all that sorts of like it's not just like an action, because like a character can do an action, but they have to do it on certain circumstances because the situation benefits them or whatever the situation, like whatever. But Mikasa, even after everything that happens in the last episode, still maintains the same attitude towards Eren that she did before. And so for me, there's zero character development in the entire situation. Like,
I will have to rewatch videos on the show, because I'm not going to rewatch the whole show to like summarize my frustrations with it. Seasons 1 through 3 are like a 9.5, if not, depending on my mood, a 10 out of 10 for like anime standards by show standards. Season 4 for me, just in its conclusion and the way it wraps up so many different plot points, and just the way it's handled. Like, I hate the time. Like, my biggest critiques of the series are literally season 4. The time skip I think was stupid, because I think it would have been really beneficial to have another season or a specific arc in place to show, hey, here's. I don't want to spoil it, Tim. I don't know if you've read or watched Attack on Titan.
That's okay. Go ahead.
Okay, because if you want to mute me, please do, because I'm about to spoil it to high hell, like we will in our rant one day. Okay. Like when they discover like life outside the island, past the ocean, like that should have been a moment where you see Eren's development, like when he starts to go down his like, okay, everything's set in stone. My biggest gripe with my biggest trope, gripe, cliche, whatever you want to call it, is predestination in storytelling, where, because of XYZ magic element, this was already fated to happen, because in 10,000 other multiverses, everything comes together in this battle. Like, did either of you guys watch Arcane at all?
Yeah.
Like, Arcane Season 2 was the biggest fucking disappointment for me of the year. I thought Shadow of the Erd Tree was going to be like my biggest disappointment of the year. But no, Arcane Season 2 came from the top rope and literally took everything that made that show great and just threw it away. Like, it's still a 9 out of 10 series, and trust me, like, Attack on Titan and Arcane are not like bad shows when I like complain about like how they did them, but they went down this like predestination route of, you know, oh, well, this was already destined to happen because I can implant my memories into my past self. So the entire character motivation of, you know, killing all the Titans was pointless because of
It's the same thing in that last scene of Attack on Titan. Well, not last scene, but like where Eren, like, so I hate the fucking Eren talking to Armin moment at the ending, because not only is it like Eren like explaining himself after the events, it's before Armin knows, before the events happen, but Eren's going back in time to explain to Armin what's going to happen essentially, and then Armin will only unlock these memories until the events have happened, which fuck you, whoever wrote that. But also secondly, Eren explains, oh, I've done all the other paths, and they don't work. This is the only path. And writing-wise, that is like I couldn't think of another way to explain why this happened, so I'm going to just make it that the universe demands that this happens. And it makes the world feel very the universe, not even the world, the universe itself in that world feels supremely two-dimensional. And what they could have done is simply just make, like, build Ymir, like the goddess Ymir. They could have built that, whatever that concept is, so much more to a point where it's not even like an enemy to humanity or whatever, but like it contradicts what even Eren's trying to do. That would have made it such a more in-depth concept of a villain. But then instead they go, okay, not alien, but like worm creature, bad, Eren bad. Take them out, we win the game. It's just Yeah,
Attack on Titan was being written as it went, because it's really strong when the mystery element is there. It falls apart like so many shows do, where like once the mystery's unveiled and then you've got like the story, it just loses its steam. Like a lot of shonen series do, and Attack on Titan had that.
I will stick up for season 4 a tiny bit. I actually really like the first arc of season 4. Because you're kind of getting what Marley's perspective on everything is. And like the whole, like, you know, the attack on Fort Smooth, whatever the fuck, the first like 2 episodes or first episode, like a war happened because the Colossal Titan it's been lost from Marley, and now like, oh wait, Marley's weak and all that. I kind of like that geopolitical type of thing.
Oh, it's entertaining as fuck. Season 4 is still really good. I'm just saying like where the story goes. It's not how the story plays out. It's just like the conclusion it reaches, or some of the elements that just feel.
You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of House. All right, hear me out.
I've never watched House, so
I'll explain House to you. I'll explain House in a really simple concept way. House is the best surgeon on the planet, and he's always right. Every episode, the doctors think he's fucking up. That is all you need to know. That's the entire show. Every episode, House is like, hey, I think this might be the thing. Doctor's like, no, you're insane. It couldn't be that. And then it turns out to be that thing. Every single episode. And no matter what, like, I'm season 3 right now. Because I'm like, it's one of those shows I watch, like, when I'm cooking. I can just, like, put it on and kind of, like, listen to what they're talking about. And, like, every episode, it's like, oh, yeah, but House cures this, like, person who had, like, I don't know, a cancer that's not even curable or whatever. And then they're like, yeah, but I can't believe him on this. And it's like, he is, for the last, like, 2 decades in this show so far, not 2 decades, but, like, 2 years, because, like, each show is, like, a year in time. The last 2 years, he's proven everything right, and you still don't trust him on, like, every concept or what.
Well, then the show wouldn't exist, but also House would lose his entire medical license by, like, the first season if he got away with, like, what he was able to do to patients and other stuff.
Yeah, but even if I had a medical license, I would still allow him to do it, because he's just, every single case he was correct on. And, like, even the episode I just got onto, they're, like, hiding a case, like, he thinks he fucked up on the case, but he was actually right, but they don't want to tell him to give him, like, a god complex. And he did make a funny comment because he's, like, limping in the entire show, and he's like, God doesn't have a limp. Which I was like, I like that line. But I think, like, Hugh Laurie just, like, pulls that show together really well. But it is like House, where it's like, Aaron shows every sign that he's a fucking maniac, and we should like restrain him. We should make sure he's like, we shouldn't like trust him or have any like sort of faith in him. And no matter right to the end, even after he's killed 80% of the planet, every character is still like, there is hope for this character. And I'm like, no, this is not how a real person thinks. Like, don't be wrong, Cullen. If you were to kill 80% of the planet, I'm not going to give you the benefit of the doubt.
Nah, that's right. Well,
I think even 80% is high. If you killed like 8% of the planet, people would dedicate their lives to hunting you down.
There is a video argument to be made for us to do a Swag Academy bitch session about this show, because it's so pivotal. Like, the entire message of Attack on Titan is how it's literally Fallout. It's war never changes, and that's great, and I love that message and whatnot. But I think there are so many better and more nuanced ways to go about communicating that than have such a compelling series and such a compelling like mystery of like monsters versus humans, and then it turns into this World War II metaphor where I remember bitching about or complaining about this for a while, where it's like the metaphor of like Nazi Germany and the Jewish people have been like flip-flopped, where it's like they pulled a Zootopia where it's like, yes, the racism is justified because predators eat prey. Like, there is an incentive for this group of people to act a certain way, just like the fucking Aryan race or whatever in Attack on Titan, where it's like, yes, there is a subspecies of humans that have monster blood, and they can turn into giant monsters, which they do. They turn into 50-foot monsters and oppress civilizations, and they've been like the ruling class for years. So you're telling me that when the normal, non-monster blooded people rise to power, that like they're, what is it? Fucking, like, what's the word? What's the word for ethnic cleansing? Like...
Genocide?
Genocide?
No. There's like a very specific word for it. Like, there's more specific than that. Like, I'm like the. It's not. Fuck. What is the word? It's essentially like it. Like to get rid of a bunch of people in the genetic pool. What is that called? Echophage is something.
I normally just say murder, but
yeah,
I don't know.
You guys get the point. Like when there is an incentive in the story, like they literally are like all these people have monster blood in them. Like they don't know this, right? Like they've essentially been genocided and put on a fucking island. All these people have monster blood in them, and so when they are given that monster blood, like they're gonna kill most of the planet. So then when you make your fucking and they're supposed to represent the Jewish people, right? Because that's like literally the Marlians, like the people that are I forget their names again. Yeah, the people that
Eldians.
have the fucking Titan blood.
Eldians.
Yeah, the Eldians. The Eldians are the Jewish people in this metaphor, and the Nazis are literally Marley and everybody else on the fucking planet. But you can't reverse the roles and say like, well, actually the Nazis were doing a good thing because the Jewish people were actually controlling the world and being terrible. It's like, it doesn't hold up under a lens, and it's so frustrating.
That I would say though that it kind of lends into why I like season 4 and why it's kind of smart, because throughout the entire show you're obviously rooting for like if we're using the representations here, you are rooting for the Jewish people in this like if we're using those metaphors for like Eldians. Having been like halfway through season 4, you realize that like this. So essentially, the main reason it becomes a big problem is that it turns out the Jews on this little island have not just a nuclear weapon, but a weapon that will like essentially purge the planet.
Blow up the fucking world. Yeah, but they don't. All they wanted was to just understand and be free because all their memory. It's the whole fucking memory wipe thing too, where it's like, oh, not a single fucking person remembers all of this until the 4th season. So it's information after information, and then also this is all predestined to happen. So fuck you.
But also this show, this is what pisses me off. So they have like this big nuclear button they could use if they ever get attacked on this island by like the Nazis or whatever. They can press this button and like wipe out the whole world. And the Nazis know this, so the Nazis never really do a full gauge like invasion of the island because they're too scared that they will activate this button. And the show completely develops this idea, like even into season 3, develops this idea. It's like what do you call it? In nuclear terms, it's a
mutually assured destruction.
Mutually assured destruction. Yeah, and so. If Aaron, like, so everybody in every character's like, maybe we should just like try to negotiate, we should like try diplomacy or whatever, blah 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 blah. Eren just goes, nah, we're going full nuclear destruction. We're going to destroy the whole planet, baby. And you're like, okay, but where's the... And don't be wrong, like, people have explained to me, like, as well, like, sure, that would mean, and Tim won't get it, but, like, it would mean Historia would have to be, like, a breeding pod for the rest of her, well, her and her generations would have to be a breeding pod, because they would have to carry that, the royal family blood with the Founding Titan to activate the... You have to have a specific type of blood to essentially get the nuclear detonation button. But...
I watched the show and I'm still confused.
Yeah, like, essentially the royal family are the only ones who are allowed to activate the big nuclear button. And so that means that you can only... But they have to have not only the royal blood, they have to have the Founding Titan blood, which is like a very specific type of blood, which means that you have to have like super specific things, and it means that Eren has to breed with Historia to make these super babies that can activate this nuclear bomb. Really confusing, really annoying. It's an interesting concept in the show, but like the problem I don't have a problem with the show where it's like two-siding the things, because like I really liked halfway through the show where like, and I know my parents have just finished season 3, and when they come back in April they're gonna watch season 4, and I know they're gonna be like full-on Eren fans until that point in the show where they go, oh shit, maybe we're rooting for the wrong side. And so I don't have a problem with that, but it's Eren's entire like motivation is like I need to wipe out this entire existence. It's like, okay, sure, let's take a few steps back. I understand the problems here, but maybe there are other no, fuck you, punches Armin in the face, tells Mikasa she's a piece of shit. I already know what I'm doing. And then the way he explains this, all these actions, is right at the end when he goes, I looked into all possible futures, and this was the only option. Which is the writer's, like, what I call, like, the writer's, like, abyss, where the writer doesn't know what the fuck to write, and just, like, goes, alright, I'll get the simple solution, like, create the bridge out of paper mache, and just, like, give me a plot point to allow me to, like, justify what this horrible person did to this horrible people. Which,
well, it was to save his friends. You're forgetting. He just wanted a world where he could save Armin and Mikasa. And that means killing millions of innocent people.
But not even that. What's funny is, well, two things. One, that ending is the second draft. Well, not second draft. They had an original ending that was different, and it's confirmed already. And I think the studio weren't happy with it. And so this is the second, like, not even draft of an ending, concept of an ending. The ending was supposed to be completely different, but so this is like already. I mean, I don't know if you read the manga for Attack on Titan, or did you just watch the show?
I didn't. I know it was like worse than
my
how
the first monitor I ever bought, I punched and broke because I was reading the manga on the computer. I was so
Seriously?
mad because you know what? I'll share my screen. I'll show you the exact moment where I punch my screen, not in the manga, but like it comes up in the anime. Oh, give me a second.
You're good. I'm gonna defeat whatever is taking Godric's place, because I've got Godric's Great Rune, so I'm about to tear up the city, and then I'm gonna probably hop off to go cook dinner.
Okay, give me 1 second.
Although I could sit and talk for hours, especially ranting about this show, but I think you and I are probably in the most agreeance. I think whatever ideas Skipty will present will make sense, but it's not like I hate the show. I left it thinking it was like a really good, like 8.5 out of 10. I just really think like the way the show wrapped up could have been handled better.
Yeah. I completely agree. I just think like Skipty thinks like everything was wrapped up nice in a bow, and I just like couldn't disagree more.
I mean, it's not I wouldn't call it a satisfying ending. I really think like the gang, like the main characters of that story could have done a better job, like, or genuinely put in some real effort to try to like save the world and achieve world peace. But all they did was prove that like the ethnic cleansing against the monster-blooded people that are not a Jewish metaphor was justified. And I find that a really strange way to end your fucking shonen show.
Yeah, but also like when you leave the show, the island of Jews is controlled by a bunch of like ultra nationalists who actually agreed with the entire genocide. And,
yeah, because war never changes.
Yeah.
War never fucking changes, obviously.
Yeah, and then also you left a bunch of the people who were like now that you've just committed a genocide on the entire planet, you left like 20% of them alive to remember what just happened and will probably never fucking forgive. It's like, don't get me wrong, the Holocaust was a terrible thing. This is worse than the Holocaust.
Yeah, well, that plus like the post-credit scene of
yeah.
Oh, by the way, in the cyberpunk future, the fucking like Titan War is still happening. It's just with like drones and missiles now, which it's like that's a charming way to end the show, where it's like all of this. Like, I'm not saying you need to have a happy ending. Like, you can have a tragic and satisfying ending, but I don't know. I could have been better. But yeah.
This is the moment where
I'm not.
This is the moment where I punch my fucking screen. I'll let you know when it happens.
Yeah, I know this. I've seen other manga fans talk about this scene because it was like really bad in the manga. I did it to save you.
僕は許した覚えはないぞ。ミカサの恋心を無限にしたことはどう思ってるんだ。命がけでずっとエレンだけを見てきたミカサに。I
love how you've got the exact moment line down too.
I know exactly the moment. I punched. I know the manga frame as well.
こんな女泣かせのことは忘れて幸せになるべきだね。まあ案外すぐにいい人見つけてあっさりくっつく気もするな。やだ。
There it is! I punched my screen at this moment.
一生俺だけを思っててほしい。俺が死んだ後もしばらく10年以上は引きずっててほしい。
To have like Armin go, that's pathetic, is like the weirdest thing as well.
そこまでかっこ悪いこと言うと。
But it's like it's also just this bit here where Armin's like, hey, look, because this will happen. So Aaron's already seen the future. This hasn't happened yet, and Armin's like, hey, there's other options. And then, to be fair, I did actually kind of like this moment because like my reaction, like Armin's reaction is my reaction.
Hey, is that the blood of everybody we fucking murdered on the planet?
That's 80%.
人類の8割を踏み殺した。なんてことを。
To be fair, I did watch the last couple of episodes at like 3 in the morning consecutively. Like, I probably watched like 20 episodes in a row. Like, something ridiculous on a weekend.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
It's a mess. I knew the ending was a mess getting into it, though, so that's why I don't have as much of like a I hate this reaction. Like, I'm still upset about it to this day.
But it's not even this bit. It's not even this bit. I don't think I won't be able to find it on YouTube. I don't think, because I tried looking for it. But after this, Armin tries to like go, wait, I'm as much as fault as you because I let you do this. So I'm really like as bad as you. And we are all as bad as like, and it tries to like justify Aaron's actions in like the worst way you could possibly do, and like this entire scene ends with like Armin being like Armin and Aaron like hugging, being like, we're in this together, like we're both the same, don't worry. And it's like, no, don't pull this shit on me, like where like Armin is somehow responsible or like in any way like on the same level as Aaron for like killing. I think the population of the planet at this time is like nearly 2 billion, so probably talking like 1.6 billion people being absolutely just murdered.
Yeah.
I just hate it.
I think it's a great show, and I would recommend it to a lot of people.
100%,
but the ending and the final season, yeah, it's a bit of a bit of a doozy.
If you even know what happens in the end, the show is still good, like on its own. Like it holds up on it. Like each season holds up on its own 2 feet, like without anything. Like even if you knew the ending.
Well, it's because the 4th season, pacing-wise, is so much of like, okay, you now know the mystery of the entire world. Let's just get everything done in like breakneck speed, and that's what I really didn't like about it. Because I think having more time to explore the world outside of the island, past the ocean, with characters that don't even know what an ocean is. That shouldn't have been like for somebody who marathoned it. It shouldn't be like you go from one episode where these people who have never seen a big body of water, like they don't know what an ocean is. They don't think it's real.
Yeah.
They see that for the first time, and the next episode is all of these friendly characters you've been with for 3 seasons now, starting a war by killing innocent people and essentially a nuclear explosion.
Yeah, they nuke a city, like...
Yeah. Like, I gotta understand how you got from fucking point A to point B, where it's like, yeah, we realize that the world's a horrible place. And then that's when they throw in all of the predestination stuff. It's when they throw in all of the other lore stuff, and it's just... Yeah.
It's, like, not even an Armin thing to do, but, like, this scene was just, like, the most fucked up thing ever, where, like, Armin just,
you just read the comments of any of these YouTube videos you're going to. They're gonna just regurgitate everything we're already saying to each other.
It's just, okay, nuked, goodbye. A million people dead.
Well, don't worry, it's because Aaron saw it needed to happen. All the more groups.
To be fair, they did it kind of like, not, I don't want to say respectfully, that's the wrong word, but they show the fucked up of this entire scene, where like Armin's just like, what did I have to do? Like, did I actually do this? Like,
well, okay, it's gonna be a long rant video because I think you and I are just in an echo chamber right now. Like, I think the majority of the fan base kind of agrees because I'm in the same boat right now with the Arcane series because that show ended so fucking piss poor. Like, again, I think both of you guys have seen it if you haven't seen all of season 2, where it's like the whole show's about a class war between the Undercity and the Overcity, and the series ends just being another like we have to defeat the big magic thing, and just throws away the entire first season's plot point, or plot line. I was just super frustrating and annoying. Like, worse, I think I experienced it because I was waiting so long for Arcane Season 2 to come out. I probably feel the same way that, like, Attack on Titan manga readers and anime onlys felt when they got to the ending. Because I marathoned it all in one day.
Yeah.
So, or one, like, month.
Each chapter of the manga came out once a month, so I started in, like, 2014. So when the show, Season 1, first finished. So I was reading it the entire time. So having it come to the conclusion in like late 2019 or early 2020, like having all of that build up to that ending, I was just like, it was like all of these years I've spent on this thing. But I would say to Tim, if he does ever want to watch it, season 1, I think something you'll like, and it's what I think season 1 and season 2, and even to some extent season 3, like, does really well, is they focus on like the small details in the sense of like when it comes to like battles, they like have specific strategies that like are really clever in a way. So they'll have like, oh, we can't let like the enemy know that where Aaron's location is, so we'll put like Aaron in a specific position in the battlefield, and we'll have like a line of like flares that go up to let us know where the enemy is in our entire battle group, so we can know where to divert, and we'll have like different color codes. It's like a really clever show in its early stages when it comes to like specific battles and things like that.
Oh, what makes the show great is literally all of seasons 1 through 3 because of what you just said.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm complaining about all the elements I don't like and not talking about the elements that I do like about the show, which is it's intrigue, it's mystery, it's like the fight against this unstoppable force of, behemoth monsters. It's the strategies and ways they use for like humanity to get a one-up on the monsters, essentially. Like, it's so intriguing. It's just when they start to unveil like the answers is when it starts to get a little lost, because you can tell the author, creator, etc., whoever else was involved, put a lot more thought into like the scenes where like the survey corps are leaving the walls and going out into the wilderness, and how would they go about doing that in a realistic setting. Like, more thought was put into that than like storyboarding the entire like series.
Yeah, I mean, like, even like this scene here, right? You've got like, this is like an actual like strategy scene.
I mean, don't get me started on season 3. I mean, like, the highlight real fucking moment of the show is like the end of season 3, and I won't say any more to that. Because that was the one thing I didn't get spoiled to in Attack on Titan, was like all of season 3. Like I knew about like the scene, and you can think whatever came to your mind is exactly what I meant. Because there's like 5 of the scene. There's so many of the scenes that are good. Like I didn't get spoiled to Erwin's scene. If that's how you pronounce his name, Erwin. I haven't seen the show in a while.
Yeah.
Erwin, Japanese dub be like.
Yeah.
And I didn't get spoiled to that scene, but I got spoiled to the other stuff. But like watching that blind for the first time was like, oh, just guttural. Maybe that's why I was so disappointed by season 4, because I came off of the high of like seeing that, and then immediately like a couple episodes later, it was like, why are we bombing Japan?
Yeah,
What'd they do to us?
I mean, it was like I have the same feeling kind of season 2, where it's not so much that it was like, because it is somewhat similar to the manga, but like I feel like the manga did it better, where the reveal. I'm not gonna say it, but in season 2 the reveal that happens is so much more nonchalant. Like it's not supposed to stick out like a sore thumb, to a point where you're reading it. And I remember like I must have been like 15 at the time, and just going like, I'm not a big like reactor when it comes to books and comics. Like I'll read it in my head, and in my head I'm going, oh shit. But it was like the first time in a comic book I've like read where I'm like, oh, I'm like out loud going, oh, what the fuck? Because like one thing the anime does that the manga doesn't, and because the manga kind of expects you to be a bit smarter with it, is it doesn't do flashbacks like the show does.
Oh my god, dude! Attack on Titan, that's another big gripe of the series.
Yeah.
Even in its earliest seasons, the flashbacks were so obnoxious.
Yeah. Which there aren't on the manga as well. So like, there's like a big reveal, and in the manga, the reveal comes out of nowhere because you didn't even think about it, and that the show's trying to like, well, the manga's trying to like tell you like, yeah, think about every step you take because you're gonna miss something. But in the show, it's like, as the reveal is happening, it's like, do you remember that one time when this happened? That was pretty sus. Like, this entire reveal is like completely confirmed. Like the whole reveal is like, is this true, quote unquote? Like, I don't know if this is true or not. But the show goes like, yeah, no, it's true. Look at this flashback of this point where like this happened, and you can remember.
Yeah, where you didn't see this thing happen.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That was definitely a gripe. That's an anime cliche all around, but Attack on Titan had that many a times as a problem, where it's like, just let the scene play out. Like I can fill in the blanks on my own. Like when what's her name? Blonde girl that looks like a German. Yeah, when Annie, that reveal, where it's like, just let the fucking scene play out. I don't need a flashback to why this makes sense. Like, I'd rather be surprised like her, so that when it plays out, you get that, like, explanation. Like, the next episode opens with the flashback instead.
Yeah.
Right? At least don't treat me like an idiot.
My dad noticed that as well. My dad was like watching it, and he's like, just get to the fucking point. And my dad was just like, just get to, I don't understand it. Just, like, stop showing me flashbacks. Like, you do get a lot of, like, Eren and Armin just being like, one day we'll get to the sea. And my dad was like, I swear to God, if they do that another time, I will stop watching. And I said, like, look, season 4 doesn't have that. Don't worry, we'll be fine. He's like, okay, I trust you. But like, he was like in season 3, where every single time where there's a flashback of Armin being like, Eren, we're going to go see the sea, and then my dad would just be like, fuck's sake.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that. I'm glad somebody else noticed it. Well, I'm sure the audience, like, everybody noticed that at a certain point. I was on a train of thought. I've been on the computer too long. I'm gonna defeat whoever Godric is, and I'm gonna pop off.
Yeah, I'm gonna probably leave the stream now. It's 2 o'clock in the morning here, so that's 2 nights in a row. 2 o'clock in the morning.
Wait and see if my permadeath run dies to like if I have to fight Millennia. Although I will bone out if I have to fight her.
No worries.
I've got a Starfist plus 17 now, so.
All right.
I don't remember what I was saying. But yeah, no, Attack on Titan's great. The more I rant about that show, the more it's like, I'm less disappointed about it. Arcane Season 2 is like my Attack on Titan, though. Like, I can't wait to talk with somebody who feels the same way.
Just watch it. Like, Jack, just watch Attack on Titan. Even if you know what happens in the end, it's still worth every minute.
Here's... Alright, I had to fight Matir earlier. Who knows who this is going to be? And I'm fighting them at night. If it's Millennia, I'm done. Who is it? Oh, Mesmer! Oh, fuck. Okay. I got this. I'm actually really good at his fight. And he's got no fucking health either, so this is gonna be real easy. What an exciting fight, too.
I always find it funny though with like the writing, and I was trying to explain this to Jack because Jack watched Code Geass, season.
Just killed Mesmer.
Did the first season? Oh, nice. But he did
Mesmer was a little easy.
He did the first season of Code Geass, but he stopped before the what I like to call like the writers dug themselves into a hole and couldn't get out episode.
I haven't rewatched that show in a while. Actually, I should show you around my room. I got the fucking wall scroll up if you can see it.
Yeah,
right there. Season 2, R2 babies, right there.
I mean,
and the Bebop wall scroll.
Oh, nice.
Right above mine.
I feel like I gotta like if I said like the kill the Japanese episode, you'll know what I mean.
Yeah, I remember that one.
Yeah, that's the writers being like, shit, we've lost like because like the lead up to the episode was that everything was going really well to a point where like nothing could actually go wrong in the situation, and so the writers like, okay, how do we make the situation bad because everything's going so well, and they went okay, so the like no one will nobody who's watched the show like will understand this, so it's not really a spoiler, but like Lelouch goes, oh, this is how my Geass works. I can order people to do this, or I can order people to do that. And the princess, or her name is Flea, or whatever her name is, I can't remember. But she's like, oh, cool. So you can like order people to do anything. He's like, yeah, I can order them to like, if I were to say to you, for example, like kill all the Japanese, and as he does that, like a hack happens on the other side of the planet. Boom. You know what happens next? Like. It's like it's the writers just being like, shit, we're stuck. We need to like because before that, like everything was going perfect. As in like the Black Knights didn't have a purpose anymore because they had set up like a perfect like zone for Japanese people. One of the royal family members was like sponsoring it. So okay, this is going well. All the like demands that the terrorist organizations have all made have like been answered. So everything was going perfectly fine. So there was no reason for like anything to go wrong. So the writers were like, shit, we didn't write a character. Yeah, we didn't write a character or an event that was going to happen that would make this go wrong. Shit, okay, we're going to have to like go really hard on the script here.
Yeah. I have... Okay, to be fair, though, I watched Code Geass when I was, like, a child. Like, I was in, like, high school when I was watching that series. So, like, it's hard for me to say, like, it holds up under a lens because I haven't watched it in years. Like, I still love the show and all of its flaws, but that's definitely, like, if I rewatch it, it's going to be like rewatching Star Wars, or it's like,
yeah,
that's so stupid. Why did they do that?
It is, but I still love it. Like, I watched it not too long ago. I still love it. Like, it has some stupid moments in it. Like, I love how they develop a nuclear weapon, and no matter how like much they nuke Tokyo, the high school is like always on the perimeter of the nuclear blast and survives. This is
well, you gotta have those high school episodes.
Yeah,
it's an anime after all.
But the ending is still like I think one of the best endings of all time though for a show. Like
it's what Attack on Titan tried to be.
Yeah,
and it couldn't be.
And not even Attack on, like not just Attack on Titan. Like many shows have tried to recreate that ending and just haven't like done it to the level of. And what I love about the ending as well is that it's honest, where like even the VO afterwards is like, yeah, not everything is fixed. Like there's still so many problems going on in the world, but like at least we're not in the situation we were in. And like that for me was like I think that's what was the goal in general, just to get things back on track to normalcy. So just like having that was just it's a fantastic show.
Yeah, just don't watch any of the sequel series that have come out.
Yeah, don't
for
watch
it.
That. They're not canon. I don't count them as canon. Season 1.
Me neither.
Just
there's like a spin-off movie, a spin-off series, a spin-off series, another spin-off series.
The only thing I would say in season 2 that is also not canon is like Lelouch having a brother. Just ignore that. That doesn't matter. Just Pretend.
Uh-huh.
That character is the worst thing I've ever seen in writing, where it's like, okay, we gotta give Lelouch like a, because we killed off one person, I'm not gonna say who, that's important to Lelouch. We gotta add another new important character to like give off some sort of like hate relationship, and then as that character is dying, Lelouch is like, I hope you die, you're a piece of shit. I just love, and then like every episode is a Pizza Hut sponsorship. It's just the best show ever.
No, that's phenomenal. All right, gentlemen, it's been fun hanging out with you all. Even though it was just rambling about anime and other nonsense. Next time we all hang out, or just everybody or anybody really, I might make a shout out online because I need to make more of an effort of hanging out on the news team channel and whatnot. But it was fun. I'm gonna go cook some rice bowls, go watch some TV, and get the weekend started.
Yeah, go ahead,
So,
have fun.
Enjoy.
I'm probably gonna head off now because it's 2 o'clock in the morning and I'm gonna go to sleep.
Yeah.
All right.
I'll probably be off a bit after because it's late, not too late, but still.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna, like I said, like heads up for everybody. I'll be back on next weekend, obviously, but then the weekend after that, I'm free for 2 weeks. So whatever time in the morning you want to message me or call me, just do so, because I got like no time like limitations with that type of week, like with the holiday for 2 weeks. So that'd be a good time to do any like sort of like streaming or video or whatever.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
All right. Awesome. Well, I'll hang out with you guys later. I'll talk to y'all later.
All right.
Peace. Have a good night.
Have a good night. Catch you later, Tim.
See ya.
Everyone. Good night, stream. Hope you had a good one. 2 o'clock in the morning. Hell yeah.